this bill to the House. Thank you.
I understand the member is taking just a 5-minute call, so I'll ring the bell at 4 minutes. Eugenie Sage.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Very pleased to take a short call on this bill. As a new member of this House, it was very encouraging being in Select Committee and it having such a constructive, collaborative approach to the legislation. So, like others, I congratulate the member, Trevor Mallard, for bringing this bill. Because the Hutt City Council operates a free service to remove graffiti within the Hutt, and it spends over $200,000 on this annually. The bill will mean that council staff or their designated contractor no longer need to get permission to go onto private land to remove graffiti which is visible from a public place. That's provided that the council has given 10 working days' notice to the property owner or occupier that it's going to do this, and provided that it's received no objection from them. If there is an objection, the graffiti stays. The council wanted this bill because of the high levels of tagging and graffiti in the Hutt and their experience that swift removal helps avoid further tagging and helps prevent buildings from appearing neglected and then being targeted for more tagging. So it addresses the issue of absentee property owners and building and property owners who didn't respond to the council's request for permission for their graffiti contractor to remove the tags or similar graffiti. Mr Speaker, when I first read this bill as introduced, I was concerned that it potentially gave the council excessive powers to remove political comment and graffiti art. And that was because the bill had no definition of graffiti and no protection for property owners who may have allowed their fence or their blank concrete wall to be decorated with a political slogan, with a political hoarding, or some form of graffiti art. Because, of course, what may be one person's graffiti may be someone else's pungent political comment, and the bill, as introduced, would have allowed an overzealous council officer or contractor to paint over whatever he or she considered to be graffiti. So it was pleasing that the Select Committee agreed to include a definition of graffiti from the Summary Offences Act, and that requires, of course, that there be an element of damage or defacement and that the graffiti is done without the lawful authority or consent of the owner or occupier. Mr Speaker, there have been suggestions that this bill be applied nationally, and certainly the Green Party would obviously consider any such bill on its merits. But I have some concerns there because the Hutt City Council has been very progressive. On the one hand, when it's been controlling and eradicating graffiti, it's also been very progressive about channeling the energy that goes into tagging and graffiti into graffiti art. And as long ago as 1999, the Douse Art Museum ran a Style Crimes exhibition of graffiti art and a festival, and that involved breakdancing, music and the painting of a huge mural. So the Council has been working hard to be very constructive in terms of the way in which youth can express themselves through graffiti art in a positive way. And it's important that that's done because it is a vindication and a valuing of youth culture. And if we create legislation which eliminates any form of human and youth expression by labelling it graffiti, that's not validating that youth culture. So it's progressive what the Council has done in doing that on the one hand, as well as removing graffiti. Another very significant change by the Select Committee was, as the previous speaker Nikki Kay noted, the deletion of Clause 8, because that protected the Council and its agents from civil proceedings, and the advice to the committee was that it was unclear why council employees should be given this protection when other local government staff, when they were carrying out their responsibilities under other statutes like the Local Government Act, didn't have a similar protection from legal action. So, as council staff, as long as they are taking reasonable care, they are very unlikely to be held to be negligent. So, Mr Speaker, this is a very good bill. The Green Party is pleased to be supporting it and commend the member for introducing it and the work of the Select Committee. Thank you.
Call Maggie Barry.